back, everyone, to another episode of the Ready, Set podcast. I'm Tony.
I'm Angus.
I'm Ricky.
Yeah, we're just three of us in this one. Thought we'd switch things up. Derek is may or may not be preoccupied. But so today we want to go over maybe just share some stories or go over what certain things that we've done that we haven't told our parents or are ashamed of telling our parents.
Yes, some of our possibly not so proud moments.
Or ashamed of telling anyone.
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Well, yeah. So, who wants to start?
All right.
Everyone's sweating.
Yeah, we're like
everyone's hesitating.
Make sure you don't say that wrong thing.
Just as long as my parents don't watch this, I'm good.
Well, okay. So I got a tattoo. My first tattoo. Yeah, year 2020 during COVID. My parents don't know about that. Actually, neither of my brothers know about it either until 1 week I was taking care of my brother's two kids, two boys, and my t-shirt rolled a little bit up, and then he saw my shoulder, and he was like, "Oh my God, you have a tattoo!" And so that's when I showed him. There was no. I guess it's slightly offensive, but it's more comical than anything. And
Okay.
I just really got it for fucks, right? Like, just for fun.
Yeah.
So,
Could you describe what this tattoo looks like for the crowd?
yeah, for our listeners, this tattoo of mine, it's a full colored piece on my shoulder of a... Okay, I want you to visualize a mermaid. Well, what are you thinking here? We're thinking a top half is a beautiful girl, long hair,
Yes.
possibly exposed, possibly not, and then like a fishtail, right?
Yeah.
Well, what about like who says that is the expression of a mermaid? A mermaid is just half person, half fish.
Yes.
So
Alright.
the tattoo that I have is half person, half fish. It's just simply the top half is a fish, and then the bottom half are a pair of legs that are quite decent looking.
Thick.
Yes. So yeah, that's really what I have is a mermaid tattoo.
Oh.
No particular meaning with it.
So what makes you not tell your dad or your family, whoever?
Yeah. So I don't think my brothers would care anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really want to tell them.
Yeah.
And it sort of become this thing where I wanted to see how long I could hide it from them.
Okay.
And for my dad, I think he'd just be disappointed. It's
Really?
just, yeah.
Even at this age, at our age, when we're like adults now.
Yeah, I think it's this. He's a very traditional Chinese old man.
Right.
So I don't think he would appreciate the idea of one of his sons getting a tattoo of anything kind of thing.
Is it like the appearance of like what other people might think that like, oh, you kind of look like you're more rebellious now to like aunties and uncles?
I think it's a little bit of that, a little bit of Chinese mentality of associating tattoos with crime or something like
gangsters,
that.
kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like troublemaker.
Yeah, troublemaker, kind of rowdy.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of rowdy.
Well, I am rowdy.
tattoos.
Yeah, you're very rowdy.
No, yeah, that's interesting because I kind of went through this similar thing when I got my my tattoos on my arm. I was trying to hide it for as long as possible, and then one time my parents came down and they just saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, and then like my mom was like, she wasn't mad. A typical response, like she wasn't upset, but she was just like disappointed.
Yeah.
She was like, oh,
That's even
That's worse. It's not right.
yeah,
Really,
I felt it makes you feel bad because she's like, oh, there's nothing we can do about it now, but just can you try not to get any more? Like, I just want you to maintain like your image and stuff. I was like, oh
dude.
damn, that's devastating. And
But
after
also
that,
no.
but also no, yeah. So so the appearance thing. I thought about it at first. After I got it, I was like, oh, what are some of like the aunties and uncles gonna think, right? But at a certain age, you just stop caring what people think.
Mm-hmm.
But that is something I tried to hide from my parents for a long time.
Yeah. How long did you have your tattoo before they saw or found?
So for me, I wasn't living with them,
Uh-huh.
which was I was able to hide it. And then when they came here, like there was a couple times they visited, I didn't show them. I was wearing like a long sleeve or it was like wintertime or something. But yeah, once I wore a t-shirt, they saw it peeking through. My dad's like, what the hell is that?
Was your dad really upset?
No, they weren't.
Oh, okay.
I think it's maybe if I was in high school living under the same roof, they'd be like, yo, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Because at that age, you're still like a kid and like you feel like you should be following the rules or like you're, all the other elders are like maybe look down you more than when you're like an adult.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, that's a similar experience to you.
Yeah.
Tattoos.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. For me, things never told my parents was probably skipping school.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
Like high school or like are you talking about
high school. It's definitely I like skipped a lot and I was absent a lot. Or late for class. Just like a lot of that. So I would we had a Safeway nearby. I would always just walk to the Safeway and just sit there and skip a class because I didn't want to go to it, especially when it comes to oral presentations. I always skip it. Yeah, it's not good.
So your grades were slipping a little bit?
My grades are okay. It's just that one semester, I was late probably every day for that one whole semester. And it was like in the hundreds.
Whoa.
And then my parents are so busy, right? They're like constantly working. So they never actually ever see my report card.
Wow.
But it got pretty bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my parents don't know till this day.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So hopefully my parents don't watch this because, I'm going to get whipped. But yeah, that's something like, yeah, it's not good. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Because like I never skipped class until like grade 11 or grade 10 and grade 11 is when my friends are saying, I'm going to skip class. I'm like, oh, you can do that? Like, I thought that's not okay.
Right.
And they're like, you could if you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
You skip one time and then it becomes way more easy.
Oh, because it's like taking drugs.
Yeah, it's like taking
Take
drugs.
that one
It goes
time
like
and
Speaking of drugs.
Speaking of drugs, yeah, don't do it, kids. Don't do it. Yeah, for me, I was like, since I was in like kind of a new environment, I felt like I had to do certain things to fit in or like be in certain situations let's say at a club. I discovered in my early 20s, early 20s, I discovered raving.
That was in Vancouver or Prince?
In Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So growing up, I was always kind of experimental. Like I, of course, tried drinking in high school. I tried smoking pot in high school, which I didn't think was harmless, right? Yeah. And then in Vancouver, when I started getting into like the raving clubbing scene, I got introduced to certain substances. And the bad thing is there was a point of my life where like I was low key like addicted to it.
Did we know you during that time?
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I don't think it showed though.
It was I think I told like some of like Jacob and stuff about like told him about my adventures, but because the first time I took it, someone's like, oh, just try this. I'm like, what's that? And I was like it was this like crazy looking like bluish candy, like it looked like sour candy or something.
Oh, interesting. And it wasn't like a pill form kind of thing.
It looked like a candy, yeah. And then he wanted to give it to me so that we can go to a club. And I tried it and then went to club and I felt like I had that hit of like dopamine where like I felt like I was just like happy. Peak, right? Yeah, like I was happy, just like living life, being reckless, just enjoying myself. And then I wanted more. And then so like
that feeling back?
Yeah. So like the next time we went, I asked for it. I kept asking for it, right? And then when we started raving, a rave called Doom's Night at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
And it's a whole day thing. So it ends at like 7 or 8 a.m. But then you get there at like 8 p.m. So it's like a 12-hour thing. Yeah. So no one's going to last that long just completely sober, right? Yeah. Most of the crowd there is on some substance. So I was taking that kind of stuff and I was doing that for almost like a year, maybe 2 years.
But the crash time must be bad, right? Because you're at its peak.
Yeah.
I heard like from I have friends that have done it too.
Just for friends.
Just friends. I never done it, but like
a friend of a friend.
I am open to it, but like
yeah.
But I heard at its peak you feel so good, but then when you crash hard, you get really depressed, and it could sometimes last for a day, even like 2 days.
It is like a depressant essentially when you get to the bottom. It also makes you like very anxious. Like you can't sleep. Like there's thoughts racing through your head. That's why sometimes people take what's that the thing where like you take to go to sleep.
Melatonin?
Oh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some of the friends take that. But then you throughout the night you don't notice, but you're actually chewing on
Oh.
the inside of your mouth. They
Oh my
call it
God.
something in that world, but so when you wake up and you're sober, you have like
Canker sores or like.
yeah, you just have like you're just like a chunk of like your
Oh my
because you're just
God.
grinding your teeth. That's why a lot of those girls they put in like the pacifier and stuff at like EDC and stuff. That's why because they're not chewing on their
Oh.
gums and
Whoa.
That's why
on
I
their
didn't know
cheeks. Yeah.
Oh shit.
But I wouldn't advise anyone to try it because seriously, it can really mess you up. I remember a time when I was on it at, I think it was at Dooms or something, and you can't control yourself. I was like dancing, I was bumping into people, and someone almost like tried to fight me, or like a couple guys tried to like jump me. But luckily my friend was there. He's like, oh no, he's okay, man. He's just tripping out, right? So after those instances, I realized like I don't want to be not in control of the situation. I want to be like fully like kind of sober and so I don't like make a mistake or like get behind the wheel or something.
Right.
crazy like that.
Yeah. Make a like permanent decision on something, right?
Yeah.
You were able to just like cut it out? Just
Yeah.
like that?
And I realized I was hanging around the wrong people.
Oh.
I hung
Oh.
around some people that they're nice people, but
Yeah.
they are really into like raving and stuff in the early 20s.
Mhm.
And I kind of got pulled into that world because I guess I didn't know anyone else here besides my connections from Prince Rupert
I
that
see, I
came
see.
down here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's something my parents or my sister I don't think even knows about.
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Because you guys share everything.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I was to ever do these substances, I would never do it at a rave. Like I don't even go to raves. I don't
Yeah.
go to clubs or anything. For me, it's just more of experiencing like these feelings. Cause I feel like weed, right? Like it. I was very against weed because of my parents. Was against weed, so that's something I've done, and I never told my parents, and they probably think I've never done it either.
Mm.
But that's my ex got me into that. My ex got me into doing weed, and it was edibles.
Oh.
It wasn't smoking
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I was so against smoking.
Mhm.
Anything go into my lungs, I'm like, no. I'm
Because
not.
you're very health conscious.
Yeah, like I didn't know if it was gonna affect my lungs, especially when I just run or do anything. So I'm like, I'd rather just do edibles, which is probably worse.
Mhm.
But it was a great experience because it really opened my mind.
It mellows you out when you're in that.
It does the opposite for me.
Oh really?
My brain actually goes to like hyperdrive because I already think a lot, but it
Mhm.
makes it even run even faster. So now I have all these ideas, but I don't stick with one idea for more than like 5 or 10 seconds, and it's just like constant.
So it's like
ideas.
ADD on steroids.
Yes, it's so bad. It is so freaking bad.
Yeah.
Like I just can't stop. And there's one time she threw one in my mouth and I swallowed it. I had one. She thought it was funny, but I already had one in me, and I had the trip of my life. Like I went, because I have these specific videos I watch when I'm high.
Oh.
It's like colorful. If back then when people watch YTV, they had these like animated shorts, like music videos.
Yeah.
So I have all those bookmarked
Oh.
on YouTube.
Mm.
And I was so high to the point I went downstairs, I opened the browser, and I forgot what I wanted to do.
Oh.
Whoa.
And then I kept thinking like, oh, I came down here is to watch these videos because I'm high. All right, let me do that. And then that thought would go into something else.
Yeah.
And then after I would come back, I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't know where I am. It's like, oh no, I'm here to watch videos. And it took me probably like half an hour to an hour to click the playlist.
Wow.
But it was so bad, but it was a great experience because that actually opened my mind up and being less stubborn
Mhm.
and have less of just going off what other people say. Like my dad was super against like he relate marijuana with opium,
Mhm.
right?
Whoa.
Because he said like opium, like people get addicted, and one of our neighbors that time, he smoked a lot of marijuana and he saw him as like getting addicted to it, right? So that's why he kind of like kept telling me it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. So that's why for the longest time I was super against it until, met my ex, and then her friends kind of told me, you can try it if you want. And I did a lot of research, and there was nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
And then I took it at a safe environment. We were just in the living room. We were just watching a movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good. But it's not something I do. like very often. Like very rarely I would do it.
But it made you more open-minded
Yes.
to realize that whatever you've grown up with, making you feel a certain way about something.
Yeah,
It's different, right?
Always,
Yeah,
I
like-
feel like you should see it in your own eyes, not from other people's perspective, because it's better to experience it yourself, right? Or maybe as long as it's in a safe environment. So I'm not telling everyone to do drugs. Just saying,
Yeah.
if you were to do it, make sure you trust those people and you do it in a safe environment, because if anything goes wrong, they can at least take care of you, right? Yeah. So that's
So yeah, what would happen what do you think would happen in your case if, let's say,
my dad
your
knows.
parents caught you in that state or like smoking it or whatever you're doing? Like, what do you think would happen?
Oh man, my dad. Oh man,
You think he disowned you?
You think he would get mad?
he would get so mad. He would get
Even
like at this age.
Yeah.
We're talking about this
Yeah,
age.
that's it. Yeah.
He would get very disappointed.
Oh,
Very, very disappointed.
Mhm.
Like even then, even back then, he probably kicked me out. But he kicked me out like a couple times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the most silliest thing. But
Mm.
I think he would definitely kick me out back then. Now, he would just be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know if just disowning, maybe. But
You're gonna lose your last name.
I check your last name. He takes our password, scratches it out. It's like this does not belong to you.
Put you out of his will.
Oh man, I think the same thing would happen to me if I was younger, living with them. They'd probably maybe get really angry, really upset, scream at me. Yeah, but I think when you're older, it's more of just disappointing because they don't want you to be like wasting your life or
Yeah.
maybe getting into trouble because maybe you're doing it at home this day, but another day you might be out partying, you might be driving or something, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it's like they just don't want you to not only get in trouble but harm your body and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right?
They saw it like to the extreme. You might be living on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
selling
That's
drugs
always.
and taking
I
drugs.
feel like that's probably any parent would automatically take things to the worst case scenario. kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a defense mechanism. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It is the uncertain, right?
Mhm.
They don't know much about it. They rather you just stay away from it, right?
Right.
So, because them as parents, like they don't know
Instincts.
everything either.
Yeah.
So it's when they don't know something, they're like, I'd rather you not do it, just in case.
Right.
But I feel like everyone should do your own research. Don't just like listen or hear what people saying and just believe it off the spot. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did wonders for me. I'm doing great. It's a little.
I don't think. I've only tried weed like maybe a handful of times. Edibles too, and it was all right, but it wasn't my cup of. How did I say
Did it
this?
mellow you out?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, but
Okay.
I think there was one time where I had some weed and alcohol.
Oh,
You can't mix.
Yeah,
I heard
so-
that's
yeah,
like
it
really bad.
kind of gave me
Really
the
bad.
spins. So
Yeah.
after that, I really stopped. But what I hear so many good things about things like shrooms, and I really do want to try
That's
that
something
out.
I want to do.
DMT,
That's something I really want.
ayahuasca, all that
I want to do
crazy
DMT.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what's DMT like?
I've never done it.
I've never-
Nor are we advocating. We might have to cut something. It's not supposed to speak about it. But yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We're turning into a Joe Rogan podcast about DMT.
It'll open up your mind. No,
But
that's what I'm hearing. Is shrooms
from-
opens up your mind, right? Like a lot of creative types have.
It basically makes it hallucinate, right?
hallucinogenic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, well, I've a couple friends that takes it, and they said, you start very slow, like micro doses, and then you have to basically get everything done, like do all your chores, everything's out of the way, because it really gives you a bad trip if you start thinking about like I have to get this thing done, like so you have to be in a very good place, from what I was told to. If you have, let's say you're feeling down, it's the worst thing to take, I guess.
Oh, so it really like enhances whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, it makes you feel really good, but it also makes you feel very vulnerable, as in you're looking deep into yourself, is what my friend told me. Because one of his dreams, or his, I guess you say, trips, was he saw a version of himself sleeping next to him.
Oh.
And it was him, but it was black.
So you did like a third person perspective kind of thing?
No. He was still lying there on his bed, but next to him, he saw it was him, like just a black version of him, like a shadow version of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then that black shadow wanted to hurt him. He said that the more you push things away, the more they come after you. So he told it to embrace it. He told the black shadow to come and hug me.
Whoa.
So he hugged it, and it turned into a girl, like a little girl. Yeah.
Holy.
But the little girl he said the little girl was like a grudge, like the scary little girls, like from horror movies. And she had like hair all over her face and stuff like that. So it was really trying to scare him, but he said the only ways to do it is to embrace that scary, or whatever that haunts you, and that turns into, basically it lead him into like a forest. It was a weird trip. And when he tells me, he's like, yeah, if you were to do it, just do it in a safe environment.
So he doesn't regret doing it. Did it like open up his mind to
It did.
things?
He said like he feels reborn.
Wow.
Is what he told me. But he only does it like once every half a year or every year.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Oh, you've never done shrooms?
No.
This guy just assuming everyone.
Honestly, I assumed that you did a lot of
No,
different...
just the ones I listed I've done.
Okay.
I haven't done any of like the ones that are like the psychedelics.
Oh,
like the
yeah.
stuff we just listed. I haven't touched them.
Yeah, those are like kind of crazy. I'm kind of scared to dive into that, but I just want to make sure I'm in like a very good place before
Yeah,
I take
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe in the next couple of months, we'll release an episode of the podcast where we
That's what I was thinking.
We all
explain
do.
the process. Yeah,
We all
yeah,
come
yeah.
back and I'm all
Content.
crazy and
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh shoot.
Yeah, for content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, that's pretty much our experiences with drugs, and more importantly, things that we haven't told our
our
parents.
parents.
Let us know. I'm really curious about our listeners. What kind of secrets or things have you hid from your family that they don't know? So hit us up on our comments or our socials, either on YouTube or Instagram. And be sure to hit like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're on
Spotify and Stitcher.
and Apple
And-
Music and
yeah.
all the streaming sites now.
Doing drugs is bad.
Mhm.
Like don't do
we're not
drugs.
advocating for
Yes.
just
If you're just sharing our experiences.
Exactly.
That's all.
Yeah.
But if you were to do it, just make sure you get permission.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening to our podcast today.
we'll catch you in the next one.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.